General Sharma, since we are short on time, I want to now for a moment shift focus to the LAC. India enjoyed an advantage over China in terms of our air force, altitude, terrain, fighter flying. Now China has also built its new runways and blast pens and longer runways. Is this the reason why it's flying closer to the LAC?
So it's not this alone. There is a dramatic shift into the entire situation that has been in Tibet and also in Xinjiang. The blast pens are one part. The runways have been extended. There has been habitat built for 120,000 people troops to stay. So there's about 100,000 extra troops to stay. Accommodation has been built. And this road that you refer to, G695, starts from close to Mazar, which is north of Karakoram Pass, goes all along the LAC, much closer than the 219 is. So if you take the entire culture of change, then of course our hackles must be raised. So this is a systemic change happening across there. Now the exercises they do every year, but as Professor Brahma has already rightly said, but last year, 2 years also, they were doing similar exercises. Yes. And they suddenly moved the exercises and came closer to the LAC and did all what they did in April 2020. So now, of course, the exercise implied, now we have forces located there. We would be actually in some kind of alert. The exercises are on. But to say that there is an advantage that the Chinese have obtained in 2 years by creating the infrastructure, especially for the plans to move aircraft closer in and fly closer into the borders without refueling as it is likely seemed. So then there is a dramatic shift into the whole threat pattern that emanates across in the line of
Professor Chilani, you agree that the threat has increased even in Ladakh, but the question would remain, is China thinking of opening multiple fronts, Taiwan and Tibet, or does China want to keep both India and Taiwan on the edge so that China remains unchallenged in the Indian Ocean region? Is that Beijing's tactics?
You're right. China's ambition is to be the dominant power in Asia. If it's not the dominant power in Asia, it cannot be a world power. So preventing any challenger in Asia is at the center of China's Asia strategy. But I think one has to also look at this larger picture, just the way China has gradually regularized its coercive pressure on Taiwan since 2020. It has not happened now. Nancy Pelosi was just a pretext for upping the ante. But since 2020, China has been regularizing its coercive pressure on Taiwan. And in the same period, China has sought to normalize its hostile pressure on India. So we are seeing a parallel between what they're doing against Taiwan and what they're doing against India. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, that in a scenario where China is able to annex Taiwan, then it'll seek to do a Taiwan against India. The reason being that China claims large chunks of Indian territory as part of China, including Arunachal Pradesh, which is almost 3 times larger than Taiwan. Yes. So if Taiwan falls, you can be sure that then the pressure on India, the adverse pressure on India would increase tremendously.
Sharma,
that's why India should contribute its bit to keeping Taiwan free.
In fact, General Sharma, is that also your appreciation? There'll be a threat, there's a threat to Taiwan, there's a threat to Arunachal Pradesh, there's a threat to Bhutan, Nepal, Ladakh, all across. China's mounting pressure, and systematically the frog is on slow boil. The world thinks it's okay, just a little more. But in the past couple of years, China's done a lot more coercion.
So it has done it. There is no denying the fact that there has been revanchism, there is expansionism, which has been evident across.
We don't tend to look at the bigger picture. We look at developments day to day and forget the larger picture.
And let's look at the bigger picture.
This is the mistake we made.
Absolutely. Professor Chilani, I want to quickly bring in General Sharma for his last comment. General Sharma, this new road G295 that will connect Tibet with Xinjiang, he already has G219, China already has G219. Why would he build a G695 closer to Depsang, Galwan and Pengong So, as some have argued?
So it is a great threatening move that's been carried out. There are no populated areas. He's not connecting any kind of these habitations across there. So this has got only one content and one value. That is, it has got it's a lateral being built across the very close to the line of actual control. It's a threatening posture. I would also state that he has to convert the pontoon bridge which he's got across the Pegong Tso Lake into an
Yes.
RCC bridge in times to come as part of this road. The road, when it comes up, starts from north of Karakoram, goes right across to Arunachal Pradesh.
Yes.
It will be an intensely threatening move to be done. It can't be done in one day. It may take 5 years,
Absolutely,
10
and
years.
that is why
but
China is
would
doing
be-
it. And look at the other steps, the villages that are being built, the 5G network in border areas, all of this together points to a much bigger and a very dangerous picture. Professor Brahmachalani and General Sharma, as always, many thanks for joining me.